It's there! Holy moly, this one's going to go big!
Hello and welcome back to the channel. For this video we are going to get back to fruit machine emulation. I know it's been a little while, my apologies for that. There's been a little bit of online slotting recently, but I think it's time to get back to some fruit machine emulation. And for this video we are going back into the past. So far into the past, in fact, that unless you have been around on the fruit machine emulation scene for quite a while, and I am talking 15 years or more, you may not even be aware that the feature of this video, the emulator, that I'm going to be showing you in this video even exists, because this is not multiple fruit machine emulator. That's MFME. That's the emulator that we're all familiar with in the here and now, that's being updated on a regular basis by Wizard. This was an emulator that was around in 2003 and 2004. It was last updated in 2004, and in its day it was the only way that you could play machines based on the Scorpion 1 and Scorpion 2 technology, mostly used by BFM, but also some other companies as well. And it's this fella here. This is the oldest build of it that I can find on my disk archive there. I've gone through them all. And this is the old, it's off that disc there, in fact, which I've copied to this machine. Partly why I'm on the camcorder here, because this old Windows 7 laptop has got an optical drive in it. My own PC doesn't have one, and I have to faff around with the external optical drive. Now, there were earlier versions than this. As you can see, we're on version 1.6 here. I can't remember what the earliest publicly released version was, but there were some before that. But it still works in the here and now. So let's load in this game here. Club 65 Special, and we'll say yes to that, and it loads. There you go, it still works. Oh, we've got a little RAM error there because I've just unzipped it out of, there we are. But it runs in the here and now, and you can see that. So we are now going back 16 years for the build of this emulator, and it still works. Let's put a pound in. And we can play here Club 65 Special, which, oh, I don't think we can press space to start on this version. But it still works, look at that, there we are. Let's see if we can get a win. This is Scorpion 1, by the way. This is a Scorpion 1 machine, but Scorpion, oh, let's see if we can get, oh, there we are, we've got a £4 win. Now we can play the, you see down there? We can play the super game now, so let's go on a pound to go. And then we're playing on the top reels here. So let's have a look, see what happens. Nothing for me. Oh dear, can you imagine playing a pound ago? When this machine was, I think this is from the late 80s, early 90s, this machine, a pound ago on the top reels here. Well, that was rather unsatisfactory. Well, let's just finish off our credits and then we'll get into the emulator itself and the story of it. But I just wanted us to see if we can get another one of them 4 quids. 3 holds, I think it doesn't work on club machines, 3 holds, does it? No, there we are, we've lost our pound. So what we'll do, and I will, by the way, be on Bandicam on my main PC with the headset on. I'm just doing this intro here using the camcorder. But in the sort of kind of short story of this is that BFMulator, I think it was originally released, it was the early 2003 or the back end of 2002. It was certainly after the hovel closed down, because the hovel closed down at the back end of 2002. I've gone back through my hovel archives. There is no record of BFMulator in there whatsoever. So it must have been right at the end of 2002 or into early 2003 that this was first released. We're running on 1.6 here. You can see there the build date is April the 21st, 2003. And if I just load in another game here, let's just go to load in another game. I just tried this before, and this is not the best way of doing this, Degsy, but where are we? It's in there, Cops and Robbers AWP. Let's show progress window. And look at that, we get that warning here as well. Scorpion 2, still under construction, not stable yet. So let's, well, there we are. Now, I've got to kind of impress upon you what a big deal this was. This machine was completely unplayable this technology was not emulated in any other emulator at this moment in time. MFME did, as that, oh, I think that's crashed, hasn't it? He did say it was unstable. I think it's at it. Is that? Oh no, it's coming up, there we are. But be patient, Degsy. Well, there you see, we have got the alpha of sort of the dot matrix display emulated. And running, you see there, running £10 ROMs, £4 cash, £10 all cash. It did last a long time, cops and robbers, didn't it? But there you go. And I think it works. Let's put a pound in, see if we can have a go. What was that? Why did that not give me a credit? Well, something's not working there. That didn't quite have the desired effect, did it? But at the time, you could not play Scorpion 1 and Scorpion 2 machines on any other emulator. MPU 3.4 had evolved into MFME, but at that time, the only extra technology that had been added in was M1AB. I know that now, in the here and now, Multiple Fruit Machine Emulator basically does everything. At this point in time, in 2003, it emulated MPU3, MPU4, and M1AB, which is kind of the Omega side of things, basically. So this was a big deal. This was a really big deal back in the day to be able to play these Scorpion 1 and Scorpion 2 machines, which did open up real classics like the one that we can see in front of us here, which is Cops and Robbers AWP. And even until this day, right to this day now, there are some machines, there's a handful of machines that you can only play on BFMulator because they have never been re-released for MFME. So obviously this now has had several layouts over the years by various layout designers. Most recently, Pook, of course, did his final kind of remaster of it for MFME, running the classic £6 token ROMs. So in a way, there would be no reason to play this on BFMulator apart from kind of historical curiosity. But what I'm going to go into when I get over to my main PC, get my headset on and get Bandicam going, is go through a few of the games that you can only play on BFMulator, and we'll talk a little bit about the history of the emulator itself and the guy who wrote it.
And it was this guy here. He went by the name of Re-Animator on the forums and in the about box on the emulator itself. Named himself after the splendid 1985 horror film, which is called Re-Animator. I recommend that you watch that if you've never seen it. It really is tremendous 80s fun. Quite gory though, I must warn you. Now, he wasn't actually called Re-Animator, obviously that was not the chap's real name, but he did actually post on Fruit Machine Emulation History Part 2. He left a comment on this video. He's called Hans Munchkoff. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce. I'm not very good at being cosmopolitan, but Hans here, I'll just call him Hans, left a comment on Fruit Machine Emulation History Part 2 from last year saying, "Great video. I was involved in the scene. I have written BFMulator and some main drivers for Bellfruit MPUs a long time ago." So you can see there, I replied to Hans. "Hi there, Hans. Awesome to hear from you. BFMulator was and is an awesome emulator. I still load it up from time to time to play machines that have never been released for any other emulator. It works okay on Windows 10, although it needs tweaking with the various speed sliders, as I don't think it was coded with an expectation that CPUs will be running at 4 GHz or more. Many thanks for your work on BFMulator all those years ago. It really helped push Fruit Machine emulation along, in my opinion." And Hans there with a final reply saying, "BFMulator was written for low-end PCs. Most parts were written in assembly." And this is the interesting bit. "I have been thinking about a rewrite, but haven't found the time. It needs better video support, 3D reels, and better light rendering." So fascinating to hear there, after all of these years, from Hans himself here, the chap who actually wrote BFMulator. did get my dates wrong in the intro there. As you can see there, version 2.07. This is the latest version that I have, and to the best of my knowledge, this was the last public release of this emulator. And you can see there we've got a build date of November the 13th, 2005. So it basically existed for a period of sort of 2.5 years in the early 2000s, with this here representing the final release. So we are going back, you know, getting on for 14 years since this emulator had a final public release, which is why, of course, unless you've been around for a long time, you may not even have been aware that BFMulator existed. So let's take a little dive into the layouts themselves. Now this here is my BFMulator folder, and this is part of my current Fruit Machine emulation collection. If you see there, that folder there, FME new, this is my current live Fruit Machine emulation folder. This is where all my Fruit Machine emulators are. And there you can see this. This is bang up to date, right with version 6.1, which is the latest current release, with all of the releases that have been made for version 5 onwards since November 2016. And you can see there that BFMulator is part of my live current Fruit Machine emulation collection. I still fire it up from time to time because it is the only place that you can play some layouts. Let's just have a little dive into the layouts. Now, I am sure that I remember that the earliest releases of BFMulator didn't actually support zips. You can see here that all the layouts here are zipped, but if you look up at the top, some of them are just in folders by themselves. And the fascinating thing is that if you go in, can you see there? This was, I could be wrong, it's going back a long way, but I've got it in my head that the earliest releases of layouts for the earliest releases of BFMulator, you had to do it like this, where you had to have all of the images actually unzipped into a folder like that, and then you had these text documents that defined what each of the reels would be. Why did I just... That's not going to work, is it? No. Bugger, try to open a bin file. That's not going to go very far. See there how the reels themselves are defined, and look at the actual text file that defines the layout itself. And I do remember that creating layouts for BFMulator was a little bit of a skill set all in itself. It was a long way removed from the, I mean, even at the time, MFME, I mean, the tools were not as advanced as they are now, but you basically had something representing a modern graphical user interface. BFMulator didn't really have that. It was far more of an involved job to create layouts of BFMulator. Do you remember Daysleeper got particularly good at it, and he was one of the early guys to get his head around it. And that was kind of a barrier to entry. I definitely remember some people at the time saying that they'd try to have a go at making a layout in BFMulator because they could make layouts in, you know, MPU 3.4 and then MFME, and they just gave in with BFMulator because it was too difficult to do. So hats off to those people who were making layouts for BFMulator all of those years ago, because by all accounts it wasn't the easiest process to do. After those early versions had come around, you can see that we then got support for zips. Now, if you look inside these zip files, the zip files actually contain everything that's in that open folder. It's basically a real definition file, all the on and off images, and then you can see there's a text file that sort of holds everything together, that look at all that defines where everything goes. And then, of course, you've got your ROMs as well. So, fundamentally, it's the same building blocks for a layout as we see to this very day. But it was a bit of a complicated process in the BFMulator day. So let's just go back to the emulator itself. One thing, by the way, it can get a little bit crashy on a combination of sort of modern operating systems and PCs. Because, of course, when this thing was written, the idea that we'd have the monster machines now with, 8 cores, 16 threads, clock speeds of 4 gigahertz or whatever didn't really exist. So it was always super stable back on Windows XP, on a single core Windows XP machine. It can get a little bit crashy on a modern operating system. But one thing that I found that fixed it is to do the following. And basically all you do is just go into Task Manager, go to Details, find the actual process for BFMulator itself, and then what you do is do Set Affinity, that option there, uncheck. You can see there I've got 16 processors, that's 8 physical, so I've got a Ryzen 1700X, so I've got 8 physical processors and 8 hyper-threaded processors. They're not real processors. And what I do is just bind it to CPU2, which is the second physical processor core. I don't use CPU 0 because of course that's handling all your network interrupts and all that kind of thing. So CPU 2 is kind of the first unloaded core, if you will, and just have it running on that. And fingers crossed, I've had some fairly extended play sessions on this coming up to making the video, and it hasn't crashed on me once I've done that Set Affinity there. So let's just have a look at a couple of games. And what I'm going to try and do here is let's just come here and try and pick a couple of games that do not appear to exist on any other format or for any other emulator. Now, there's a machine called Easy Money. Now, the problem, of course, is that names get reused over the years. There's no kind of copyright on calling a fruit. That's not a very good thumbnail, is it? So there is a JPM impact machine called Easy Money. But if you have a look down the list here, you can see there we've got an Easy Money Classic and an Easy Money DX for BFMulator. 1280 DX, but nothing else. Apparently it was released for Amber as well, but in essence the only real way to play this is, and let's just load it up, let's go to Easy Money down the list here. Where's the 1280 DS? We'll just show progress window, and there it is. So I don't think, could be wrong, I like to think my Fruit Machine emulation collection is fairly complete, but it's entirely possible that I've missed something over the years. And I think what you need to do, and if you go and look at the options, I mean, it's a far more, I think more of the technical side of things. Obviously MFME is a very, very technical piece of code under the hood, but a little bit more of it seems to be exposed to the end user. And I look at some of these, I'm a little bit, I mean, you can kind of work out what's going on to an extent, but there are an awful lot of options in here, and we've actually got kind of the part numbers for things that are being emulated. And what I find you have to do, I think, is if you drop the CPU speed there down to 150, you can kind of leave, by putting it onto a single core and then just doing that, things normally run about okay. And I don't think you can play this layout, as far as I'm aware, I don't think you can play this layout anywhere else. So let's put a couple of pounds in it. There we are. Let's get it going. And the first thing you'll see there is it runs nice and smooth. We've got smooth scrolling reels. We've got a nice sort of little semi kind of blurry effect going on there, and it's all very pleasant to play. You'd have kind of thought that, oh god, a 14-year-old emulator, that's not going to be very pleasant to have a go on in the here and now. It actually runs. Oh, look up. There we are. I think I can hold them all like that. It actually runs fine. All your keyboard shortcuts are present and correct. On the early versions, there was some weirdness. You may have noticed on Cops and Robbers in the first section of this video where you couldn't use the space bar. There was some weirdness why, I don't know, where it conflicted with something in the emulator, but by this version you could use the space bar to press start. So if you're familiar with playing on multiple Fruit Machine emulator, you will be familiar with this. So I think we had a hold all three for a look up there, didn't we? I always quite like the music. They've got some nice samples, these older BFM machines. They often had some nice little sample packs. So obviously we're going to go higher than a 1. We have got... Oh, there's no... Can I not exchange on this? Oh yeah, I've got some. Oh god, I tell you what, out of touch. You've got to get to that's a big exchange, isn't it? £5 exchange. Come on then. Oh, you'd fancy a jackpot off. Oh, come on, you'd fancy a jackpot off this, wouldn't you? Let's exchange. I haven't got far to go for the jackpot there. Come on. So let's have a press start there. Oh no! Straight onto, there's a little bit of a glitch on the Alf there. You can look at that, a forced win of 3. That is rather annoying, isn't it? I do quite like this game. If you get to the £10 repeater, just so let's take that £3 out. Can you there? We've got actual effects, sort of. See, physical. You've got physical coin in and coin out effects and all that kind of thing going on. Let's just see if we can get a £10 repeater out of it. This is one of my favourite games to play in BFMulator that you can't play. Well, put it this way, if there is another layout for it out there for another emulator, I am not aware of it, so whenever I fancy playing this one, it is over to BFMulator, even today. And this is bang in. As I've said in so many previous videos, this was back when fruit machines were fun, when you could play them for entertainment, when our jackpots were a reasonable size. So what we got? Oh, superstar. There we are. Is that just 3 on the line, I think? No, not even that good. Hold after. That should work, I think. Hold after nudges does work, I believe. There we are. Right, let's see how we can do. We've got a gamble. Oh, God, it's a £5. Oh, fuck. £5 exchange again. That's rather annoying. We'll see it out for a jackpot repeater. And then we will go on to the main event, because there is one machine in particular that I really do enjoy playing in BFMulator, and it is another one that I do not believe has ever been emulated in any other emulator, or certainly if it has been, I haven't got the layout for it, and it's one that I do fire up from time to time. And I'm just kind of determined now, just to see if we can get out to that £10 repeater there. I think you've actually got to be up into. I think you actually got to be up into the £2. I don't think that starts the feature. No, it doesn't. You have actually got to be up into £2. And it does. It's got all the same stuff that you are used to with MFME. So it does have a RAM file save system. So it kind of remembers where you are up to from one section, or from one session rather, to the next, which of course is super important with a fruit machine emulator. That you almost say that there's no point if it didn't do that. Come on, can we just get in here? That's got to put me in with a bonus. No, okay, so we're going all the way up. Let's just see if we can get past that feckin' pig out square. There we are. It's a bit of a short feature. I'd forgotten how short this feature can be. Oh, fuck off. Pig out again. It's a really annoying collect prize system. That's a feckin' annoying. It's £2 and bloody... And there's no other way, as far as I'm aware, to get the jackpot repeater. Because you can say, oh, well, let's just play for red 7s on the reels. But that's just a straight jackpot. It doesn't have the repeater. It's the repeater that I really like to play for on this. It's only a £10 jackpot. It shouldn't cost us too much. But what I hope you can see here, even from this, probably not the best hold there, even from this brief play, is that this is still a perfectly viable emulator to play even in the year 2019. As far as I can tell, it is all available over at FruitEmu. They've done a very good job of archiving this older stuff out, and it is still available for download. You may just not have even known that it was there. That's the thing, and that's part of kind of what this video is for. It's a little bit of nostalgia, and just perhaps to draw your attention to something that either, well, A, you didn't know about. Oh, of course, yes, you can get the 3 notes, can't you? Something that either you didn't know about at all, or had kind of forgotten about, maybe. You saw those 2 notes that I held there. Yeah, those fellas there. So I guess you could go for 3 holds on them, or hold after nudges. Couldn't? Yeah, because that can't. In fact, I can't quite respin. Oh, if it goes to nudges, that... So you could maybe do something a little bit clever, because that would, of course, take you straight in on the £10 repeater. Oh, see that? That was... I think it was that, wasn't it? Oh, dear. You know what? I missed it. Maybe I got that wrong there, but whatever. There's a little tricky type thing there, and I missed it. Let's see what this is going to give me. Come on, just any number. Let's get in. Let's just get back on the feature. I think if it holds 3 times at 10, it puts you in, yes. Oh, what's that? Cancel?
Loads of money.
Okay, is that an Oh, I've got super feature exchange now. Streaky bacon. Oh, I see. So I'm getting the... Oh, bollocks! At least it's only £1 this time. I'll bring you back when we're looking like we're going to get a jackpot repeater. Okay, that's 3 holes. You know what? It's wanted a few bloody quid to get back in here. Let's see how we can do here, because that was pretty bad. So it's still... What was that easy money thing? Because I'm still getting offered the super feet. I must have missed something on that. Right, I don't want a 3. Fucking hell! What's it going to... Oh, another £3 collect fries, you bastard. Right, we'll have another go. Okay, we have got a win. This has taken an absolute fortune off me. I had a high-low hint there, I think, which was telling me I had to go... Oh, it was a no-lose gamble if I went... Oh, my God! I don't know how, because there's no meters. That's one thing that BFMulator is missing. I must have put a good 30 quid through this. Easy. 30, £35 I must have put through this. It's absolutely ripping me a new one. I don't know what I did to it that I must have taken a bit. In fact, you know what? It's just coming back to me. I do have a memory. The last time I played this, it's just come back to me. I think I got a really big £10 repeater out of it. I think it repeated to like 40 or 50 quid. That does ring a bell, and it makes sense because this is ripping me a new one. We'll see it out. I will see it out for a jackpot repeater, but having just remembered that, and that must have been a little while. I haven't played this machine for a while, but I've just remembered now. Yeah, okay. Oh, for fuck's sake. We've got a bonus. It's playing, it really is playing terribly. This is awful. Kind of getting flashbacks to when I got hammerings like this on real machines all those years ago in the 90s. But we'll see it out. I will see it out for a jackpot repeat. Obviously, I can't stop now. I'm going to keep pausing the video because it's just doing this to me. Pound after pound after pound. Oh, there we are. I've got to look up. Let's just see if we can get on the board here. I think another bad sign is the fact it's put in the feature exchange. So there we are. So, see there, no lose gamble. It's only flashing lower there. Come on, there's got to fancy the exchange here. Higher than a 3. Fuck. Okay. God. You know what? This must have had 50 quid off me here. It's rabid. It's like a rabid dog. Just awful. I just want to get a jackpot repeat and that. Oh. One nudge can't even get there. So hold after nudges. Let's just see if we can get on the fucking board. Bad girl. So no lose gamble, so I can go lower there. I've got to win 2 more gamble. Oh, fuck me. Right, another possibility. This 60 odd quid. I'm never known the likes of it. I swear I must be 60, 65 quid. Wish I had some meters. I wish I'd been taking note of how much I've put into this. I missed something then. I was so busy ranting. I missed... there was a little hinty type thing there. Unfortunately, I was mid-rant. I just did it again. I missed it again because I was mid-rant. Let's have a respin. There we are, right. Come on, it's got to be a jackpot. This must be. Loads of money. See, look, I pressed cancel there. He said loads of money. Well, it's obviously not an invincible board. Does it mean a guaranteed repeat or something like that? So I can collect Wheel of Fortune there. I've got, yeah, Wheel of Fortune. No, we've got to be a jackpot repeater. Come on, anything but a 3 for the jackpot repeater. Can we just get one fucking jackpot? You piece of shit, and that is a forced collect prize of 4 quid. Okay, that's a decent feature start there. Can we... Come on. See, I pressed cancel again. He said loads of money. I'm not... Rather annoyingly, I don't know what the significance of that is. We've got Wheel of Fortune again. Yay!
Easy money.
£70 plus for that, I'm saying. Must have been 70 quid to get that. Let's see. See a little bit of corruption on the alpha there. Let's see if we can at least get a fucking repeat chance. Come on. Come on. Come on. I want a repeat here, come on. It was never going to happen, was it? It was never going to happen. Well, that was rather disappointing. It's a good machine, but as you can see there, I mean, obviously I was pausing the video, so you missed the worst of the carnage. And I've missed again. I keep missing these bloody things where he does his little hint. So I got that one there, and that'll give me a bonus. That'll spin in a bonus. I've kind of forgotten how this thing plays. And you've kind of got to put a pound in there, haven't you, just to see if it puts us back in. Hasn't even held. It's a long trail to get up, isn't it? Got to get 11, effectively, to get on that. Obviously, we have got 3 things going on here, which helps a little bit. That boost can often be rather crap, as you saw there. Right, we'll leave that one there. I've spent longer playing that than I intended to. So let's have a look. Another couple, well, one more machine that I think is not emulated anywhere else, but again, where is it? I think there's one called High Flyer. Here we go. So this to me looks like an MDM rebuild. See the MDM? That's an MDM logo there, isn't it? I think it says MDM on the alpha there. It's a 25p £10 jackpot machine. Again, another nice little DX. Shall we see who made this one? Because it's usually in the file here. Who was this one by? Oh, created by Dad. Look at that. A Dad DX back on BFMulator from... When was that from? 2004. August 2004. So it looks like we had a classic, because Bugs Bunny and Troutman did a lot of classics for BFMulator. And it looks like Dad has done a DX for it there. So see the board Scorpion 2, what cab it came in, all that kind of thing, and the usual bits and pieces there. I think that is unique to BFMulator. Certainly the next one, and this is the one that I'm going to play here for the final section of this video, is this one here. It's a good little game, that. I do recommend it. Quite a nice little sound package as well. Worth seeking out BFMulator for, but I'm going to finish off with this fella here, which is Superstar. Now, Superstar is a machine that I remember playing an awful lot because they had it in a couple of pubs on the Isle of Man, and in particular they had it in a pub in Douglas when I was working split shifts at a pub called the Groudle Glen. Let's just get that down to 150. And what I would do, because split shifts were a pain in the arse, so you do the sort of lunchtime shift, which was sort of kind of like from 10:30, because we'd have to get set up. That could be like 10:30 till 2. And then the evening shift of 10:30 till 3 maybe. And then the evening shift was from 5 till, closing time, till chucking out time. So for the sake of getting back from Douglas to Ramsey, often it kind of wasn't worth it really. So what I'd often do is just, I had a motorbike at the time, I had a 125. What I'd often do is ride in from the Groudle into Douglas, pubs everywhere, all open all day with fruit machines everywhere. And I got quite partial to this one here called Superstar. It's a BFM machine. I think it started off as an £8 jackpot. Certainly I never saw it on a £6 jackpot, if it did exist on a £6 jackpot. But if you look at the win progression, it does seem logical that it started off as an £8 jackpot machine. And the thing about this one was that, remember, this was right back in my clueless days, but I kind of latched on to forcing this thing even before I knew what forcing was. And the problem with it is that there are basically no real jackpot features. So you can see there the win spins on the red column. 5 win spins will quite happily just give you 5 lots of cherries for a £5. You see your cash column there, maxes out at £4. All these various features here are kind of 3 or 4 quid features. Up the ante is like a fast cash thing on the alpha there, which very often just goes up to like £3.80, £4. I think Hot Shot can be something better than £4. I can't quite remember. Nudges can sometimes offer a jackpot. The thing is that the jackpot on the reels is not a jackpot repeater. The only way to get the jackpot repeater on this is to fill in all of the lucky stars, or to get one of the columns to the top. And what I found was, because I wanted, obviously you want to get the jackpot, and I tried collecting all these various things and kind of deduced that if I want to get a jackpot on this, I'm just going to have to go for the jackpot repeater. So I kind of started forcing it, even though I didn't know that forcing was really a thing. What I ended up doing on this thing was forcing it, and it worked quite well, because the jackpot repeater on this does quite like to repeat. And I had it repeat out to £16 and £24 fairly regularly. And you've got to remember that we never had tokens here. As per that previous video, a token difference from a few months ago, we never had tokens here on the Isle of Man. So this was an £8 cash jackpot. So if you think about it, I was getting paid less than £4 an hour working at the Groudle Glen. So getting £24 in cash in my pocket out of this machine was a pretty good result. So what we're going to do here is just play this and force it out for a jackpot repeater, and hopefully it will repeat for us. So let's put a fiver in. Lots and lots of very fond memories of this machine for me, because I did play it quite a lot in, God, it would have been 1994. And we're on to the feature here. Really nice music on the feature. Rather than just kind of make you listen to the feature music now, what I will do is put the music on at the end of the video. And we can, oh dear, that shouldn't kill me. That's fine. And you see how it works? It's a really simple feature. All you can do is just press start. There's no high-low, there's nothing. You literally just press start. The reel in the middle there goes round, and it gives you what it wants to give you. That shouldn't kill me. Now, I can get 3 lucky stars. If I join 3 lucky stars together, I will get a lucky star. Nice, really good little sample pack on this. What I'll do, if I can get 2 and 4, if you join 3 stars together, you get shit feature. If you join 4 stars together, you get good feature. And 5 stars is the jackpot repeater. I could start to get kill happy now. Oh, now, that's the other way that you can... Sorry, there's another way you can get the jackpot repeater. Filling up the superstar at the top there. Yes!
Wow.
That's a good result. First feature jackpot repeater. Fantastic. So let's go for that jackpot repeater. You can see how I press start and then it spins round, it slows down, and we need it to land on a jackpot repeater. Come on. Oh, no repeat, no repeat. Let's just see. We'll maybe just go out for one more and see if we can get a repeat out of it. It was a good repeat chance on this, I would say. So I only need 2 nudges here to get triple bars. Well, that's going to give me 1. Oh, I can't miss. As long as I can hit that. And then I can lower than a 12 for £3. That's ace. Oh no, of course it's not high-low, is it? I've got to now... Yeah, it's a dapple. It's a dapple gamble, so it could lose here if it wants to. Which is exactly what it did. Silly Degsy, it's not a high-low gamble on the nudges. It's a gamble, as it were. And it will cheat you. It's not. Sometimes it slows down and it offers you a true skill gamble if you press cancel. But if it's going at the normal speed there, it will just dick you as it did there if it wants to. So I'm not expecting to do quite as well as I did last time. You usually get about 4 or 5 spins before it bins you off to a mystery. And you'd expect to survive the first one. Oh, winning out, that's bad. That's collect prize. So let's just see what it gives me. That's 6 nudges. What's that going to be? Oh, that's not well. It's not bad insofar as it's £4, but it's going to knock back the jackpot repeater, unfortunately, isn't it? So as it's quite a simple game, this. I guess I like playing it in the emulator because it's very, very evocative. It does bring back memories for me because the pub that I played it in, which was the Queen's on Douglas Promenade, that was usually the pub that I would go to in between my split shifts. That was I'd go to the Terminus Tavern and the Queen's usually. And on a bad day, of course, I could actually lose more money than I had earned on my shift. That was not entirely unusual back then. But on a good day, this machine would be kind to me. There, is that 2? We've got £2. On a good day, this machine would be kind to me, and I would get either a £16 or a £24 repeat. We've got to gamble once to exchange. So let's do that. Now, it is worth it. The higher the exchange, the better, because it fills more in, but we're not going to gamble on a 7. So let's see how we can... We want to avoid those collect prizes. It's winning out on that side. and choose who win on the other side. They're both collect prizes. That should be okay. That shouldn't kill me. Oh, winning out again. Fuck. Now, not really much you can do here. You can't eliminate reels. You just get what you're given. Is that going to give me a jackpot? Oh, £6. Sorry, £6. Silly me. Well, it's giving me a lot of forced prizes here, which is not bad. Sometimes that would happen, and you'd just build up the bank as I'm doing here. So I'm probably not going to get a jackpot repeater. What I will also do here, I'll have to get finished up because I'm just trying to sneak getting this recording in while Mrs. Degsy and Degsy Jr. are out, but they're not going to be that much longer. And Degsy Jr., as you will know if you've watched my online slot sessions where Degsy Jr. has been in the background, she doesn't take too kindly to too much of a kerfuffle, so we'll just have one more feature on this and see how we do. Well, this is just to demonstrate again that there are machines out there that you cannot play anywhere else. Even to this day, you can only play them on BFMulator. It's going to dick me here, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. So I think I have actually won a few bob on this. I am up on this, aren't I? So not a bad result. Not much to it, in certainly is how I played it. If there was a playing method, as ever, I had no idea what it was. No, I just forced it. Forced it for the jackpot repeater at the top of the columns. And if it as you saw there, if it wants to fill up the superstar logo, there's a win there. If it wants to fill up the superstar logo, basically it will. So that's not a great exchange. I can't. If you can gamble, the more you gamble, the better, because it fills up more of these things. And you're usually on the clock to an extent. You're only going to get so many spins before it's going to dick you on a mystery. And as you can see there, it does like to use the collect prize as well. There we go. There's the mystery. Oh, winning out again. I'm having a really bad run on these. £2. That's probably about as good as it's going to get. I should probably just collect £2. See what it gives me on that one. It's probably going to auto collect that, is it? No, oh Jesus. There we go. Auto collect on £1 naturally. There we go. So it's a good machine. I really like this. There's probably, if you have a look down the list, in fact, I will just wrap this one up now. Plus, I've been going on for a bit anyway. So let's just collect that £1 out. If you have a look down the list, I think most of them, of course, have been emulated on other emulators over the years, but there are still some in there that I think are unique to BFMulator. You can see there all the original README files are still in there too. There's quite a lot of information in there as well. There's some interesting README files if you have a look through. There's the one that I've just been playing, which is Superstar. So, an important little part of Fruit Machine emulation history, I would say. There you can see we've got a Dell's Millions DX for it as well. And this was bringing these machines to us. It was bringing these technologies to us, available to play in an emulator when no other emulator was doing it. Now, latterly, I think it did actually coexist with multiple Fruit Machine emulators. If you look back at MFME, the early versions, MFME 1 and 1.1, if we look at the dates on those, they're back from 2002 and 2002 for both of those. But FME V2 was when you can see there Scorpion 1 and 2 were added in, along with quite a few other techs as well. And that was released, you see there, 2005. So BFMulator got there first with Scorpion 1 and 2. They then coexisted for a while because MFME V2. Let's just double check on that date there, yeah. So January 2005, and we've already ascertained there that the build date of this final version of BFMulator was November 2005. So there were a few months of crossover, but certainly for a while, early on in 2003 and 2004, BFMulator was the only game in town for playing these machines, for playing Scorpion 1 and 2 based machines. And as hopefully I've demonstrated for you there, it's nothing to be scared of in the here and now. It still works perfectly on a modern machine. It's smooth, it doesn't crash, it's, you know, you can play the games just as you would in MFME. Obviously, you're missing modern niceties like resizing and that sort of thing. So you may have to just, if you've got a big screen like I have, they are fairly small versus your screen, but I think that's entirely tolerable. I don't have a problem with that. So it's just kind of putting the message out there that this thing still exists, and it is. Let's just have a look. You can see that there is a section over at FruitEmu for BFMulator. There's probably a few. Now, I think there are a few in here, actually, that I probably don't have in my BFMulator collection because I just have them in my MFME collection. It looks like there's a few Dutch machines in there as well. In fact, there's actually 9 pages on. So if you're not aware that this thing exists or you've kind of forgotten about it, I would, it's well worth just digging out and having a little look back through your own archives if you've already got this stuff, or over at FruitEmu, because it's all still available. So there you go. That's just a video about BFMulator. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I'll catch up with you next time. But for now, it is, as ever, goodbye.